So how did we go about doing it? One example I'm telling, again, basically physics-based methods, is that you come up with quantities that capture how strongly these two molecules interact. Okay, so once you have that physical or physics-based quantity, and then with respect to whatever molecule you can think of, you take the target, put it together, and then see how strongly they are going to bind. And then this was, in the early, I would say around mid-90s also it started. And again, people like me said this is going to completely revolutionize drug discovery and change everything and all that. But it was okay, but not as good as it claims to be. Okay, so finally, let's spend the next 7 minutes, to understand or to talk a little bit about how AI is helping. Okay, so this picture I have shown you already, right? So one of the things I said is, in the disease, maybe it starts at the hospitals, and then when you want to identify a target, a lot of different kinds of biologists work together, structural biologists, virologists, trying to figure out the pathways and so on. And then once it's identified, maybe chemists are involved, medicinal chemists, pharmacologists, again back to clinical setting where physicians are involved and so on. So the number of expertises that you count going all the way from left to the right, it's humongous, right? I don't know how to talk to doctors, right? Because, the languages that we speak are very, very different, right? So it's the same. You have hundreds of disciplines, and all of them in principle have to work together to come up with this, okay? So what has changed in the last, I would say about 7 to 8 years, is that there is one area that is kind of seeping through every single of this discipline, right? If you take from the left to the right, these are some of the breakthrough works that have been carried out in the last few years. And all of them, the only common thing about all of them is this is all AI-based methodologies, right? So if I am a chemist, maybe I can contribute somewhere in the middle. If I am a physician, or if I'm a clinical, medical expert in some way, I can contribute towards possibly the right-hand side one. If I'm a biologist, maybe I can contribute to the leftmost one and so on, right? So now the AI appeared suddenly from nowhere, and it is actually contributing to every single task in this particular pipeline. I can show multiple of these examples, both from our work and others, where it has made a big difference. Again, this is a large number of startups. Somebody was actually counting the number of startups coming in this area, and then actually a long time ago, I think 2020, he just gave up saying it's just too many. I can't cope up with this anymore. Okay, so again, if you see, who are the kind of people who are doing AI for drug discovery or even healthcare in general, right? So we have tech companies like the Googles and Metas and the Cognizants and TCS and so on, right? We have the tech companies and we have healthcare, right? So 10 years ago, right, we did not think there is any overlap between the two. These are like completely two different poles, and of course there are some people who are still working with like the AI for healthcare, but it was more like a very niche area, right? They are not very popular. So now if you see, there is a huge collaboration between the two, forming new companies, right? Whatever companies you see in the middle, okay? So these are companies which specialize both healthcare and deep tech. So for example, today Google, there's a keynote speaker by Google, and we work with Google. There are people who work. There's a company called. I have this later. I'll show it. Parent company is Google. They have a drug discovery company. Of course, they have DeepMind, and they actually got the Nobel Prize in chemistry for last year and so on, right? So anyway, so that's how it is coming, and then we can show that multiple of these tasks can be actually, can be used, AI can be used for them, right? But there is a problem. The drug discovery development is dominated by scientists, and scientists did not like AI, right? So they did not like AI at least until 5 years ago. Why? Because, they are black boxes, right? They work very well. Right? I don't know how it works, right? I have trust issues. So you just go to doctors, for example, right? and then you go and tell them that, oh, I have this AI model where it takes the pathology images and then detects or diagnoses this particular disease, right? So it's quite likely that they will not like this or they will not trust this, right? Because they would like to know, because when they look at the pathology images, right, so they know what they are looking for, and based on what they are looking for, they know the diagnosis. There is a causal relation, right? AI is a black box. You give the image, it gives yes or no, for example, right? And we would like to understand how it is saying, right? So that's the main problem with AI, that most of these models are black boxes, right? It also makes sense. Why? Because there is a fundamental difference between technology and science or research, right? So in technology, I know, I know what I want, right? I don't care what kind of methodology you follow. I don't know what I don't care what you do. As long as my end product or end goal is, achieved, I have no problem, right? Maybe I worry about cost possibly, or maybe I worry about how long it lasts possibly and so on, but not about how it is done, right? On the other hand, in science and research, the first objective is, understand things, right? So which AI does not help.